entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
I make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, please call for question, please.
Mr. Peterson?
Yep.
Mr. Canoa?
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
Yes. And then I entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
I make that motion.
All right. Any discussion?
Not
Hearing
fast enough.
hearing none, please call for question, please.
Mr. Evans?
Yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yep.
Mr. Canoa?
Yes.
Okay, anything for correspondence, John or Thomas?
Just the first thing or the item that we had is this invitation from, thank again, Village of Solomon for being the spearhead on it, but between them, King Island Native Community and NJUS, having a little celebration for the completion of the 6th Avenue water expansion. It'll be down on the east 6th Avenue area there. I'm not sure exactly which lot, but down by the sewer, by the lift station somewhere. And it'd be great if there are members of the board that might have an opportunity to attend that.
And then, the county manager's report.
Thank you. Thomas, you want to just start with your items and then I will
Yeah.
hit you on the rest of them.
Right. Not much to add to the written report. We did get our fuel delivered, wrapped up last night, just before midnight. We received just short of 2 million gallons of fuel, and everything went well. We have also had a good day on Front Street, repairing 2 leaks to date, which has been lingering the whole season. But water and sewer crew got that done today. And line crew has been busy over at the hospital apartments, getting the three-phase system in there. And I think they are very, very close to being done with their portion over there. Other than that, I'm happy to take any questions or comments on the written report.
You said saying there that they couldn't do their work. I'm assuming that's jetting that they're talking about that hasn't been done because you couldn't find a backhoe.
It has been delayed, yeah, or stalled. There's, our backhoe has been down for quite some time, and we are looking at ways to get that operational again. So we've had to rent equipment, and sometimes it's been available, sometimes it has not been available.
Well, I don't consider that a valid excuse because he owns a backhoe. I own a backhoe. Nobody contacted. I have 3 of them. Nobody contacted me.
Well,
He called me, I don't rent it out.
Yeah, well, I do, but
There's companies that have them
yeah.
We've reached out
What
to.
about Sennesac?
I think you're the
Very
only
sure.
one that I didn't call, Carl. I called everyone else in this town to ask to rent. And so I will give you that. I did not call you to ask to rent your backhoe, but I did call everyone else and their uncles to see if they could rent out a backhoe.
Did you try to rent one with an operator? I mean, oftentimes people won't rent one just out to anybody. They'll rent it if you pay the operator.
We did not consider doing that as Jerry likes to dig close to the mains himself, but
Well,
we certainly can consider that.
I assume that what they were doing is uncovering animals, so they could jet.
I
I mean, we haven't jetted the sewer. I mean, come on, guys.
That is a
It's
part
almost
of it.
October.
That is a part of it, but also going after leaks on our system and whatever is service systems. So it's a combination. And then there's also the line crews work in setting poles and digging up for poles. So it's a combination
No,
of.
I
things.
agree, but the one question I had is, why haven't we jetted? Is it because we don't have a backhoe?
That
We
is
bought a brand new jetter truck, so now we have two. If I get
right. So
been
that
told, right, we have
yes,
three.
yes, that is a big reason as to why we haven't been able to jet. Yes.
What, I mean, those manholes are down, what, 6 inches? We have to pick a shovel somewhere. I mean, we've got guys standing around with their hands in their pockets and we can't do our work.
I think that's an unfair assessment of the crew and their willingness and ability to.
Well, I'm not,
do
it's
the
not
work.
that, it's not that their willingness, their ability, it's, somebody's got to tell them what to do. And if that's the case, if jetting's not important, it's never gonna happen. It won't.
I'm sorry.
Jetting won't happen if it's not important.
No, it is extremely important.
You know, we tapped the sewer up there on Third Avenue, and it's 3/4 full, the sewer main. And it wasn't necessarily a low spot or anything, it was just that it's dirty, you know, it's got sandy solids in it, it needs to be jetted. You know, and I've asked this question several times, you know, and I feel like I just get shined on. You know, it's one of those things that needs to be done. You know, and it's like when I see, you know, we've spent, I don't know, hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars on all this SCADA stuff. And I see guys riding around in pickups, checking on this and checking on that. Why aren't they doing the physical stuff when we've got all this stuff down there that I'm paying a guy to stare at the computer screen already?
We did have Joe Bach up here in the last 2 weeks, I believe it was.
I saw it.
Yeah, and so he was going through and correcting several of the errors that we had, making sure the valves would operate properly, put in a PLC at the lagoon because that thing had not been functional. So try to get all of the things back on SCADA so that indeed the water people can get the information directly out of the computer and not have to go and take manual reads on the deal. I mean, they've been busy, but we, there's a
Well,
lot.
I would like to see us prioritize the stuff that's going to cause us problems come January. Let's get ahead of the ballgame. If we don't have to just respond to emergencies, you know, and I think the utilities is real good at responding to emergencies, but I think we like that too much. I think if we do preventive maintenance stuff, it will just not become a non-event. You know, you're not going to wind up with a street with a sewer in it backed up, you know, when it's below zero.
The jetting is very important, and I'll have a meeting on that in the morning. And we may be telling some contractors and the like that we're simply not able to respond to them at this point in time with some of these new connections that people are antsy to get because we're on other priorities. So we could be a few of those things that they'll just have to understand that they're in line and we can't do it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think we need to take care of ourselves first, you know, and our community and our commitments, you know, to our people, you know, and if there's these out-of-town contractors, they need,
We've had a
Thank you.
lot of new locations this month. I mean, a lot. I feel like that's what I've been doing a lot of.
For sewer and water.
Electrical, the hospital, new properties, man camps.
well, on the hospitals up there, who's on the hospital on that job, who's the engineer? Are we involved in engineering on that sewer and water up there, or is that?
It was designed by someone else, but the permit to construct was issued to the utility.
Okay, and the reason I say that is, you know, it's pretty common knowledge, you can't enter the ground or come out of the ground at a 45-degree angle. And when you do like this, any movement is immediately out of line. You know, if you're vertical, you know, it can go, you know, a little bit one way or the other and stuff. And their engineers need to know that. And our engineers need to know that. Don't come out, try to come out, drive by up there if you don't believe me. They've got flex connectors there and they're already coming out of line and they're not even using it. But I mean, that's just a poor design, and I hope that that doesn't come back on us, which it will. You know, whenever anything backs up, it's going to be us having to get our guys out and go fix it. But that's, I mean, it's just things like that that they need to know better. I was surprised to see them do that, but you know, when they built the hospital, I was surprised to see them put down 2 layers of foam board and then dig a trench right through them and put utilities in.
Right.
And the fire hydrants are all laying over up there, and the electrical service broke after 2 years and got pulled apart by the muck.
Yeah, and yeah, but definitely there were some things learned in that.
Well, I look at this and I think that maybe there wasn't.
Well, I'm thinking at least by us on the deal, and you know, I guess we did assist and they did pay, you know, for you know, to fix the power, you know, when that was put overhead, when we had the sewer issues there, that was all on their dime.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not, there again. There goes our crew's time. You know, that they need to be doing our stuff, you know, and not fixing somebody else's mess ups, you know.
Well, if we, if you, there are others that are known, you know, I had not considered, and thank you, Thomas, for checking with others that you knew had equipment around. We did have a backhoe from one contractor. There was a slight disagreement, I'm gonna say, with regard to that. And I went over and had a meeting with that, and it was resolved, and we got the piece of equipment back. So,
Well, if you ever need to find a backhoe, you can't find one, let me know. I will find you one. If I gotta go steal it somewhere. I mean, there's so many of them in this town, it's just a little bit, you know, like, when I saw that here, I go, just a gas.
well, we will put out a little ad too, asking people if they have equipment, if they could give us what they have, and it's available for rental.
Well, you know, I'm the first to tell you, this is a real small town, and there is not equipment fleet out there that people are somebody to call and rent it. So you come and say, yeah, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this, and be waiting for you there. It's not going to happen. It can work. Can we use it at night? Can I use it, you know, in the afternoons? We rent it that way, or with an operator, without an operator?
I think onto something, and I want to spin off. We do have a huge responsibility to ourselves and to the community and to our system to be able to respond, and with safe and good equipment. And I personally, and you might disagree, think that it is a risk to depend on local vendors to rent equipment to respond to our own system. I would rather see that we, how's the saying here, boots and pull straps or something, you know, that we make sure that we have what we need readily available to respond.
Here's the argument against that, is that we've got 2 tractor backhoes, they don't run. I mean, we just sold one because we couldn't make it run. I mean, that part to me is just amazing. We've got mechanics down here, the shop empty most of the summer. I mean,
They've been busy all summer figuring out much of our equipment, and a lot of our equipment is aging, and it's harder and harder to find parts and pieces to maintain them. And the backhoe has been identified as a critical piece of equipment for our operations. And that's why I'm where any other, the vac truck, yes, but the backhoe is used across all of our departments. And I would love for the utility to look into that at some point. But that's, you know how I feel about that. We've talked about it before.
Well, is there a time frame on the backhoe getting? What I'm reading here is that there's something damaged. We can't find anybody locally to repair it. Parts So you're trying to rent things until it gets, is there an estimate on?
There is a plan in place. It's the line boring that needs to be redone or re-welded. And there is a person in town that has the equipment, and there's another person in town that knows how to operate it. So we're trying to coordinate those to repair the digger arm.
But I've got a comment again.
What I'm
this-
wondering is how long?
Well, this has been going on for summer or more. I mean, it's at what point when we decide we're going to fix something, do we not just pick up the hammer and get going?
There was earlier attempts, and we found equipment that was missing parts, and so we sourced parts to complete that equipment. And during that time, when we waited for a quote, instead of calling NC Machinery and have them fly up with their own equipment, which would be more. While we were waiting for the quote, we also found out that there might be another option to fix this issue. And so it's been kind of staggered how we approached it. It is what it is at this point.
So we identified equipment, and thank Alaska Gold for agreeing to partner with us on the line boring equipment. Require us to get some piece that to facilitate it, and then determined that rather than have our own mechanics do it, that we're going to go to, I can't remember what he calls his name, Marty Silverdale, to actually that repair.
Okay.
And so that's just been,
Yeah, but my comment on that, is I've owned equipment forever, and I have a bunch of old junk equipment, and some of it needs to be line board, but I wouldn't stop using it. At what point, it's not like it needs line board, oh, we can't use it anymore. Well, we better get it done this year or next year, it's not, that kind of stuff isn't necessarily real critical. If you look at that 966 we have, there's stuff on there that needs line board, but it's not worth the tool, it's not worth doing it, and it works fine the way it is.
I think it would, for me as, the supervisor of my crews, I think it would come down to if my operators are comfortable operating the equipment in that condition, and the answer has been no.
Well, what you need to know is your operators would like to have everything brand new pickup trucks, all this kind of stuff. Your mechanics, they don't want to have to work on any of that old junk. Let's buy all new. You got to realize in here that there's a whole bunch of that in there. If this was a private organization and your money going out there, you would have a whole different attitude toward, well, do you think we can let this through and get through the season? And that's what everybody else has to do. They don't have the thing, oh, we just won't do our work, or we'll just put this off, or whatever. You got to figure out a way to do it and get it done.
Well, we also try to stay within OSHA regulations, and we don't want them on us. And, if we have implemented, checks on the equipment and walkarounds when people, start the stuff up, they're supposed to be, and I believe that's happening.
Yeah.
And so, but, if it isn't, there may be a time that, I don't want to take risks.
Yeah, no, but it's, when they're talking about line boring, there's a pin in there somewhere that's got bushings, and it's boring the whole sloppy. They want to build it up, and then because there's two sides of it, you got to bore a hole through straight, get a new pin in there straight, to put the thing back together straight.
Right.
But that's one of those things, when it's brand new, it is wearing out until it's worn out. And that is all a judgment call, when it comes to that. I'd be willing to bet that you could go look at the back quotes you have now that they say need to be line board, and yes, they probably do. But do they need it this year? Probably not. Do they need it next year? Well, we can probably get through without it. It's not a safety thing or anything, like it's going to blow up or somebody's going to get electrocuted or run over or something. We just spent, I don't know how many thousands of dollars on that little cat tractor backhoe on the brakes when Lewis was here. He had that thing apart for a month in the shop here, the whole rear end out, restacking all the brakes and everything in it. Those are all brand new in that rear end, and bearings and everything. What is that? And yes, now there's some more that needs to be done, but that's just with any piece of equipment. Unless you're going to buy new every year, is you're gonna have that at some point, you have to do maintenance.
I think we probably need to have a work session here at some point, just to, again, review the equipment that we have.
Well, that's just a waste of time if we're not gonna use it. I mean, let's just junk it and buy it all new. I mean, it doesn't even matter, we don't have a budget, we don't need a budget, just buy it.
Jetting will be our priority.
You know, I'd be interested in looking, seeing what the cost of a newer, doesn't have to be brand new, or if it has financing, but it would be nice to have something reliable, because it seems like we're always renting one.
But, I mean, we don't.
What is the cost of the rent?
Well, you have to think about this, we're not paying for it when it's sitting there, you know? And like those little tractor backhoes, they sit there most of the winter, because everybody wants to plow snow with the 966. They don't want to use one of those little tractor backhoes. I mean, we've had two of them, and very seldom do they get used anymore.
Okay, well, I'll gather some more information.
But look at the hours. Look at the hours on those hour meters on those two backhoes, those two little tractor backhoes, and you'll be amazed at how few. Not 50 hours a year.
I would also be remiss if I didn't just address a comment. Carl, I want to defend our staff a little bit, because some of the things you said is coming across rather unjust. Our mechanics have been working really well this whole summer. Our water and sewer crew, they've been working, they've been active, and they take a lot of pride in what they're doing. The line crew has been busy as well. So I just want to nuance that in this discussion, that our crew is working hard and that take pride in what they're doing. And I just need to say that.
Okay, and that's fine. I wasn't referring to them. I was referring to the leadership they're getting. Somebody needs to tell them this is going to be our program. This is going to be priority. That's going to be priority. This powerhouse here, that shop out there, has sat empty 90% of the summer. Well, they had that nozzle parked in there for a month and a half or so, I guess, so they weren't working on it. You know, go walk through here and take a look and see what's going on and see who's doing what and what needs to be at the top of the list. And that's all I'm asking. You know, I'm not saying that our people aren't qualified to do it. I think that they just need to know what our priority is, and that this is what we've got to do that. And we need to do it as reasonably as we can, because we're responsible to our community for the cost. When we run out and buy new trucks and everything all the time, do we really need to if we're going to employ mechanics? Why don't we just sign a, which they used to do, put it out to bid to a local garage, let them do all the maintenance. We do all of our own maintenance now, you know, on all the equipment. And I'm in agreement with that. We've got people that are qualified that can do it. We should use them, but we need to use them. But that's good. I think I made my point.
You think?
You think? Yeah. Well, the other thing I would ask about is the overhaul. Do we know what it's going to cost?
It's going to cost about $650K, I believe, what it is.
Did we get quotes from several outfits?
We did. We got one.
I mean, I was a little bit aghast to see that the board wasn't included in any of that. You know, that, did any of you know what it's going to cost for the overhaul? Did you know we were out to bids for it or quotes?
It's something that we do every.
But it doesn't cost the same every year.
No, it's. I believe this one is. Hopefully, it's going to be less than the one before. We did go to both Wartsilla and Hugo Stamp, and went back and forth with them several times, and ultimately got what we thought was a comparable proposal, and we selected Hugo Stamp to take care of it. and happy to give you all that information. And yes,
Well, I would like to see the board get that information and be involved in the process of knowing what it's costing, knowing where it is, maybe at some point, putting it in a budget. You know, heaven forbid, let's try to get going in the right direction. You know, I mean, all of a sudden, we spent $600,000
we
here.
haven't spent it.
No, we haven't, but we need to. That's my point.
We will, and it will be in the 2026 budget.
Is that a capital project? Or
Yeah,
is
no, it's well, I guess you can say it's a capital project. When we do an overhaul, it lasts approximately 5 years. We have been scheduled to do one this year, but, based on the hours that we had, and looking at it, quite carefully, we just determined that, we would be, doing the work prematurely because we did not have, we hadn't gone over that ratchet this year, so we pushed it off 1 year, and so that we actually do have those hours in there. So I guess I think we were diligent and prudent in going through, and the first quotations we got, it was closer to 850,000, I think, on it. And by getting some of the parts that we're just buying as opposed to having the supplier buy it, we're just taking it over time. So we've spent, Chris and I was just looking, I think it was about 171,000 that we have spent so far on parts. And that's not all this year. We had actually started to buy a few of those last year when we had planned on it would be done this summer. And then when it was put off a year, there still is an increment of parts that we've been amassing those, to try to keep the overall capital need down in a year so that we have the back truck and some of these other things in there.
So that 100-some thousand parts we've already bought, that is in addition to the 600-some thousand that we quoted for the overhaul, or does that get swept up in that?
No, I believe that was part of the thing that we took out. That we didn't want to buy duplicate. If we hadn't used the part and we had it on the shelf, those are going into the project and are coming out of our inventory account and going into the overhaul account.
And that's not going to short us on parts for maintenance and stuff, you know?
And that was consideration too, to make sure that we had, if there was an emergency, that we had cylinders, that we had heads, and air cooler, pieces and parts. So yeah, we did look at that stuff too.
And then I see you said we got our fuel loader.
Yes.
Thank you. And the next question is, did we pay for it? Who owns it? Do we own it?
Right. As of right now, Crowley is owning it, and they're going to hold on to it here until we can get the financing together, which is imminent.
Okay, and how did we wind up financing it? We obviously didn't get a bond.
It is going to be through a bond, and it is going to be through Forthright.
Okay.
Yep. But we worked out the arrangement with Crowley to keep people, a satisfactory arrangement with them that is at no cost. It's just a matter of negotiating and good faith.
Okay. Thank you.
That's going to be my question. So thanks for asking that.
I can take that one off the list.
Let me read a little further down.
I guess just a couple of other things. I think we probably reported, was it, or we didn't. Somewhere there was a write-up on the fact that there was a little space conflict in ICU, and wire and a truck didn't belong in the same space.
I heard about that.
So that took some effort, and appreciate all of the crews, regardless of their affiliation, to getting out there, and we were able to get it repaired without anybody getting hurt, and also then without any major outage. The foreman happened to be on hunting vacation when that occurred, and our acting foreman, Barry, did a superb job in getting that done. So I want to commend not just the line crew guys that worked well together, but everybody else that stepped up. When there is an emergency, it doesn't matter where you are, they're going to come in.
That's great.
So the contractor's insurance company is gonna be on the hook for paying for repairs?
It will be paid for by others. It will not be us.
And it says the insurance.
And we've got some very minimal information so far from with regard to EWTs. We have the plan of what EWT says needs to be done to the turbine, but we have not yet seen the report from the insurance company but essentially it's just a matter of,
Well, you said that was gonna take a crane, right?
yes.
And so that, no matter what, it'll be next year.
That's correct. And in the meantime, there is a benefit from being a member of Eureka Insurance, in that while it's not covered by an insurance policy, Eureka will reimburse us for the extra fuel that we are having to use as a result of the not being able to use the
Yeah, that's great.
Then, for those of you that, not necessarily for the board, but you guys too, but for the public that may be listening to this, if you didn't see the announcement that you should have your circulating pump plugged in, now would be a great time to do it. And I would also encourage you to, at the same time, check your smoke detectors and your CO detectors to ensure that those are functioning. I have personal experience with that here in the last 2 days where my basement was full of CO as a result of incomplete firing of my boiler. So please check your safety devices as well.
Batteries.
Boiler maintenance too, maybe?
Yeah, well, if there's a damn contractor that can get to show up.
Right.
And I pardon that to all my wonderful contractor friends, because I actually did call 2 different people. They weren't able to respond immediately, and all of a sudden both of them were that.
Oh.
So, it's just one of those things. And you weren't too far down the list to call, Carl. In the event I couldn't get one of the people that was doing it. So.
Well, if it's an emergency, don't worry.
Oh, yeah, no, I would definitely call.
But that CO is cumulative.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part.
Yep.
Just a little bit here, a little bit there, pretty soon it's dangerous.
Yeah,
It's
and I don't know how
No,
long.
it doesn't have to be just one event,
Yeah.
it can be over, 6 months.
So I, once I saw what was going on, I threw out the smoke detector and I went and got a new one. And because the one wasn't sounding, got up the new one and it wouldn't shut off once I hit the test button. So I thought the thing was faulty and eventually put it in a pail of water because I couldn't get it to stop. Got out another one and it did the same thing. So it's, the experience was good and I'm here to talk about it. So I just hope that others will take that cautionary that you can't see the stuff and it can hurt you. Then just to note too, when NC machinery was mentioned in here, is that NC has the intention now to actually base some people right here in Nome. And with all of the activity that's going on, they plan to have something right here to service a couple of maintenance agreements that they have, and would be available to, to pick up other
Good.
duties if necessary.
That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, that will be great.
I wasn't sure if you were skeptical or not.
No. No, that's, I mean, the more of that kind of stuff that's available to
Right.
us. You know, it's always a tough thing having to deal with bringing somebody to town. You know, if they're here, you say, well, take a look at this, think it's worth us fixing or not, you know? Get an opinion right on the spot.
Right. And I think the last part of it, as Chris mentioned, all of the competing requirements. I have bought into the conclusion that we're going to hire a temporary accounting firm to assist us in getting through the last couple of weeks.
Thank you.
And so
That's great.
I'm hoping to have a arrangement worked out tomorrow, but that is the direction we're going.
And then that will get all our audits caught up and all that. kind of stuff.
Yep. Besides, basically to review, to make sure, if there's anything, that we've missed in the process, then, the audit prep, and then potentially an arrangement for an ongoing, as needed deal, so that, we can call up, hire them for 8 hours or whatever during the course of a month, should they be needed. But the interruptions that naturally occur with everybody needing everything during a very constricted period,
Sure, I understand.
it's just and we just we try to be as responsive to our community members and customers, but we need to get this other stuff done and out of here. So with that, unless there is anything further, Chris did bring.
Is the best 100% now?
We still have that. I guess I don't know. The question was on the whether, and I didn't catch him before he was gone, whether the communication issue had been resolved. I'm gonna have to check on that. But otherwise, the only part that I'm aware of that is still hanging is through the Denali Commission. We have some funding available to put the cover over it. But otherwise, everything except the fact that the communication link, which requires something to be done on the SunGrid side, people changed so that we're having to go back and explain
Yeah, re-complain.
on the thing. But it has when it was tested originally, and then again when we had them test when we were using the old plant over there, there were a couple of other little things that Ken and Jacob and Joe identified. So I think that from that standpoint, I just can't. I don't know if the communication thing was resolved. And then on the, I believe Ken did put a note in here with regard to the stack robbers, as I call them, that some of the equipment is already here, and another component, we just paid for that and submitted that for reimbursement on the, okay, there it is on page 10. The ORC units are here, the exhaust boilers did make it large, or they are on their way to large.
Okay, so are they gonna come on that Kiewit barge or something?
Go
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good that that budget is slated.
Yeah, things are definitely changing, as far as, opening and closing every year of our, we're not quite to, Waikiki Beach yet, but, there's a little bit further, or a bit, other few days. It's great to have Indian summer back, this week.
After the monsoon season.
Yes, yeah. So if there's any other, we did get a response on all of the pieces that we put out for bid, and I had thought we could get a little bit more for a couple others. Having the stuff sit here, I told Thomas to make it go.
Yeah, if we're selling it, we probably have to get rid of it.
Yeah, but I mean, I wasn't gonna dicker over $500 and have it sit for another year, so. Other than that, we are continuing to, we got one arm out of the hole and we're trying to get the rest of us out. Would be a way of paraphrasing or describing. Wind production is not anything, there's nothing on that. Obviously, the one putting is down, and it hasn't been totally windy, but we have had consistency. We were able, based on EWT's concurrence, they had us limit the one turbine to 250 kW. And now we've turned it up to 500 as the minimum or the maximum we can get out of it. And a couple of repair parts that are required for it have been identified, ordered, and I don't know the schedule for that to come in.
October.
October? Okay. So that should be back fully available to us this year.
The only thing I'm seeing here that's a little concerning to me is the amount of work that's coming in 2026 potentially. Are we ahead of all that? I mean, every single one of these water and sewer things, just like this road projects, is going to hit potentially next year in addition to the Nome Port project.
The state will push them again.
Well, they probably will, but do we have everything here that we need to do all this next year if that's really what's going to happen?
No, we don't at this point in time. We would wait until we actually have utility agreements.
Yeah.
Before we make any commitments.
So the state gets their bids awarded?
There's several different things, right of way, property or acquisition if necessary. Then I can't remember, you need to have a number 5 on the STIP, which is actually construction, after they've taken care of 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we do have some of the material for Sepulveda, not all of it. And but we won't be ordering any more until we have a utility agreement in place. It's just we have tried to use up some of the stuff that we had that had been surplus from other projects, so that we're getting that out of our inventory as well. And then if there are pieces where we would be concerned about not having sufficient quantity, if we needed to, if we had an emergency and we had to replace a section or whatever, making sure that we have adequate reserve on that. Excuse me. Pardon me. So that we don't kind of cut ourselves short.
In fact, that's one quick thing. Do we know what we paid for our fuel oil yet?
We do have a price, and it is in the neighborhood of $3. Haven't done the final calculation on it, but I believe that's pretty close to where it's at.
$6 million.
So that is a reduction from last year.
Saw that at the pump.
You can see
You
it at
did?
the pump. Oh,
Yeah, I thought it was the same. Yeah, me too. I was asking.
Pass
Same
that
thing.
on, buddy.
I heard maybe October. We'll see.
Okay, I guess that brings us to board comments. Larry?
Good to hear that you're bringing in someone to start getting us closer to these audits, and hopefully you're gonna be very involved in that.
I would hope so.
I would hope so too. But I mean, getting it caught up, getting on, how they're doing it, and staying there with them the whole time and getting it done would be definitely is appreciated, so. Yeah, because that's important, as we've always said, to ensuring we get the financing for the things that we need here, right? The fuel, parts, whatever, so. I think that's all for me. Thank you, staff, for continuing to get this done for us. Much needed information for us.
Glad we got fuel. That's pretty key. One thing I'd like to revisit, we've talked about it before, was the in lieu of taxes, so we can, everybody pays the same. We can revisit that. You were gonna look into it. And we,
Yeah, and that was an attorney matter, and it's on the radar with him, but just haven't had the help with that as a priority as well.
but yeah, thanks for staff for all your hard work. It's nice to start seeing these again.
Yes.
But we should do a budget, work on a budget and some audits.
Process.
Okay, thank you for that. I'd like to thank the line crew for the response up there next to you. With even being without their leader, to step up and keep us going, I think it's always important so that people don't feel like they have to be here every second, if they take a vacation or somebody can step up and fill the gap. And I think that's great.
Yeah, they had it back up in the day, that evening. They had it back up that evening.
Yes.
Except the lift station.
Oh. We just kind of need that.
Well, do we have a backup generator? I don't know if we've ever,
We do.
you just run it out there and plug it in. There's that old one back here,
We
the
have
Warner
the,
Gelser one. And
we have the one that we took out of Moonlight Springs.
Yes.
And so that is available, if well, I won't use that. If there had been any effluent that we were in danger of losing, we had that right in the old plant, ready to go. So.
And I mean, I know that some of those, I don't know if they're all the same plug now or what in the cord and stuff, but maybe at some point have our crews identify, demonstrate running that,
Demonstrate.
running our trailer mounted generator on a lift station and make sure that the plug wire that we have and everything functions to plug into the lift station. Maybe go around and check them all and make sure that they do it. Check that those ones, particularly out there in ice field stuff, they are filling up. And when the power goes off, people have to use the water.
Right.
And
Yeah, you gotta worry about it,
We have plenty to go take care of. Get us a.
we shall rotate. I think they're all like pumps. They rotate the same way.
Well, if they're 3-phase, they can go either way.
Right, but they should be wired to go in public terminal way. And we should be plugging into the control box now. So I mean, we're not bypassing the controls, we're just going, it's my understanding, we're just gonna run that thing, or if we had to leave it there for a day or 2 days, or something, we gotta take it to lift station, and make the rounds, keep pumping them out.
Yeah, but if the lineman just grabbed 3 wires and didn't care which way they went, and they labeled A, B, and C, and then on the generator it's labeled A, B, and C, but it's really C, B, and A, then they're going backwards.
Okay. Well,
So, yeah, I mean, you just check the rotation, and you could mark it in the can, and then you know what your generator is, and if you gotta swap the lead, you gotta swap the lead.
Yeah, I know that was, one of the things when they got the power back on there, that Clint was out verifying that the rotation was proper, out there. But I hear what you're saying, that maybe it wasn't wired the same way by the time it got to the plug-in.
well, if they go around and check out these, that generator.
Right, and then just write with a paint marker,
Yeah.
this is the rotation, and you know your generator's rotation.
Yep.
Then you just
Or
swap.
just wire them up so they're all the same.
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible.
It's better to have no surprises, so if it's a simple.
You don't want a midnight call. But, yeah, and thank you guys for coming and having a meeting. Let me chew on you a little bit.
Unfortunately, I still feel like I have some ass there. But, my rec center time is being used, so.
And thank you, Chris, for the financials.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right.
Wonderful.